So I'm like, well, I'll just go back. I was like, I'll just go to the gym, get another workout in, and then meet her at her house. So I forgot all about the message, and now this time it's telling me that something has failed, and now it's doing something else, but it got something to do with the battery. So I'm like, man, let me screenshot this. I sent it to my mechanic, and he was like, man, if I was you, I wouldn't go nowhere else. I'd go straight home. So in my mind, I'm thinking go straight to my house. I'm not thinking go to my girlfriend's house, which is 9 minutes away. My house is 25 minutes away. Man, I get on 465, about to get off on Rockville Road. It goes black, it goes dark, like all my lights stuff go off inside the car. And then immediately as I get off the highway, it just cuts off. I just coast. So I pull over, call insurance. Insurance talking about they can't find my policy. I'm looking at my policy card, and my policy don't expire till the 20th. So going through all that mess. So finally, I got somebody. They said they'd be out in a couple hours. So luckily, my girlfriend picked me up, went back home. They dropped it off to me. Mechanic said he'd get to me on Saturday, which he did. And then today, I guess because my battery was so drained that when he put the new alternator in, it drained. The battery didn't have enough power to keep it going. So like I said, a couple hours later, and it cut off on me again. So today he put a brand new battery in. So I'm out a quick 1100 just like that. But like I said, it's all because I know I got a major shipment of cocaine coming in, and like I said, it's messing with me because I'm waiting on the shipment to come in, but I'm struggling with my re-up money. I'll put in no boy terms.
And that's
Like
crazy.
the
That's
re-up is
crazy.
coming, but I'm just having trouble getting to it.
That was a good analogy.
Try to tell you, the re-up is coming.
All right, so I got one more person. So we finna get this week's call rolling. Welcome to Men of Desire. This is a group chat. A group of men who are all like-minded individuals, and in this group, we are allowing a space for us to vent, hold each other accountable, share our goals, and just be there for each other as men. I believe every man in this group chat or in this group is an entrepreneur in some sort, and we all share each other's goals when it comes to business and things in a group chat, ask each other questions, just share what our daily goals are. And so that is what Men of Desire is. And this is week 3 of our Men of Desire weekly call. So welcome you fellas. If everybody wants to go through and just give a quick brief description of who you are and what you do, and then we can get this call rolling.
Yeah, I could go
Call
first.
each person out.
All right. Yep. Devontae, go first then.
So my name is Devontae Nixon. I work with soccer academies and soccer players to help them create promotional commercials to help them tell their brand story and core values. And that's my impact to the world right now, focusing on soccer academies and players and the content aspect of it, because there's a lot of promotional content, but it's not videos and photos that help them create results to help them get to the next level or help academies get awareness to recruit more players and show their brand values to parents. So yeah, you can mute it right now.
My fault, Brendan.
Can y'all hear me? All
Yes,
right.
sir.
I'm Brendan Foster, and I'm a content creator, photographer, and brand owner. And what else was we supposed to say?
That was pretty much it. Just who you are and what you do.
Well, yep, there you go. That's me.
All right, Damon
Good
Hick.
evening. Good evening, fellas. My name is Michael Allen. This is actually my first time being a part of this group. I appreciate the invite for Brother Damon. I appreciate you. That's one of the guys I used to mentee when he was in high school. But I currently hold a position as an administrator at a middle school. I also have written a book. Right now, I'm currently finishing my PhD at Marion University, trying to finish, further my education in organizational leadership.
Thank you. Shout out to Brother Damon for sending the link around, getting brothers joined into this. So we definitely appreciate him doing that. If you want to go next, Damon, and let people know who you are and what it is you do.
Yeah, that's funny. So my name is Damon Hicks. Can you hear me? You hear me? All right, good. Yeah, so my name is Damon Hicks. I'm a young father, author, entrepreneur. My goal this year really is just to strive towards being more happy, having more of those enjoyment moments, prioritizing my happiness. So appreciate you for having this, Deshaun and Pops.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you being here. Eric Jones Jr., if you'd like to go next.
Shout out to Demond for inviting me on here too. I'm a father, I'm an educator, I'm a podcast host, I'm a basketball coach. My goal for this year is to monetize. The last couple years I went through the earlier process of business, but now this year I'm ready to monetize. So that's my goal this year, is to monetize.
Man, appreciate you. Appreciate you. Sean, would you like to go next? Introduce yourself and what it is you do.
Yeah, man. Definitely shout out to all the black men that's on here. I'm actually sitting here watching this blowout, but I go by Sean D. Man, so I'm an artist. I'm a podcast host. I am somebody. My goal this year, man, is to be forever somebody that's gonna leave a legacy. Make sure that I am impacting and showing more love to the men, women that I come across. So that's my biggest goal this year, is to be happy, spread love, man, and do as much impact and as much networking as I can.
Man, appreciate you. Appreciate you. Devin, would you like to go next?
Yes, sir. First off, I want to thank Demond for the invite. This is my first time on here as well. Of course, my name is Devin. I am a dump truck owner, and I'm also a youth minister at a church at New Birth Praise and Worship Center. The goal this year for me is to build a youth ministry for
Am I the only woman
young.
on here? He got me
Sorry.
getting on shit I wasn't even invited to. It ain't nothing but men on here. I don't even think I'm supposed
Sorry
to be
about
on
that.
this motherfucker.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
I'm
My
sorry.
goal this year.
I'm unmuted.
You good.
Sorry, guys. This is Janessa. Pope had invited
this
me
is a
on
men's
here, but I didn't
only
even know
group.
what this was.
You all good. This is men's only group. Sorry about
All right. Y'all enjoy y'all.
Thank you,
Happy to be able to sprinkle some love into y'all session.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great one.
You too. Sorry about that, fellas. Are you good, Devin?
My goal this year is to build a young adult youth ministry for men and women, and honestly just draw them closer to God. So
Appreciate you. And then Billy.
Hey, my name's Pope Gaskin. Billy Hoodoo is my artist name. Well, either one's my artist name. I'm a visual artist. My goal is just to continue to just try to be an inspiration and example of what we can do out here as Black men, more examples of things that we can accomplish. That's really the gist of me and what I do.
Man, appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all for introducing yourself, sharing your goals, and then what it is you do. So this weekend I got to experience going on a road trip with my brother Brendan. And something we did was we drove all the way to Philly this weekend. Yeah. Oh, my fault, Pops. Go.
You got to introduce yourself.
All right. So I am Jason Wright, co-owner or co-creator of Men of Desire group chat. I am an artist of life. What I like to tell people, a servant. A few things I do here in Indianapolis are just in general is I have a podcast called Desires Everything Podcast, a clothing brand called DieFam, and also mentorship and am an influencer. And so those are a few things I do here in the city. And so that's who I am. And then we got my pops on here. Introduce himself. Pops. I think he's walking back into his house. So that is my father. He's also a servant of life. He's a coach, personal development coach, and the co-owner of DieFam, our clothing brand, and then co-host of Desires Everything podcast. We do a lot of things together. Last week, he just held his first event, or one of his first events, his first vision board party here in the city. And so that was definitely a huge thing that he did, and we talked about it. You can check us out on our YouTube at Desires Everything Podcast, and we just talked about the experience with it and how it went, and just went over that. So that is my father, Samuel Wright Jr. When he gets a chance, he'll go over that again. But I got a question for us fellas. What I was getting into is the fact that I went on a road trip, and my question really is, when you take an opportunity to go do something and it doesn't go your way, what are some of your like, what do you do to prepare yourself or just comfort yourself in that mentality of it didn't go the way you think or just how you wanted it to go? The reason I asked that is because, like I said, I went to Philly this weekend to go to a podcast convention hosted by Wallow from $1 Million Worth of Game. And it didn't really go how I thought it would have went. It was more of a concert feel. A lot of the people gave me the feel that they were there just to see Wallow and not really learn from them. And one of the things that definitely threw me off was when it was time for me to even network or even attempt to network, the guy that I was networking with wasn't really in the moment. He was more just passing me his card and just trying to, pass me his card and then get by to the next person. And the way I grasped that was when we were talking, he asked me what motivated me to come all the way out to Philadelphia. Mid conversation, he walks away or just leans back to try to hand two women his business cards. And it kind of threw me off because it's like, here you ask me a question, but then you turn around and pretty much blankly ignore me to hand people your business cards. So my question is, what do you do when your opportunity or the opportunity you take didn't go your way or just didn't go how you would have thought it went?
I'll go. I would look at it as maybe it wasn't my time for whatever I thought it was going to be. Because I've been to events and it just didn't pan out. And it's like you just got to go back to the drawing board and see what you could have done or to maybe made an adjustment at the event. Sometimes when you're in a new environment, you're not as comfortable, but that means you're in the right place because you're uncomfortable. So you got to just step outside of your norm and maybe go network yourself or go talk to people or something of that. So I always look at it as a learning moment and what I could do better the next time I'm in that type of environment to make it to where I'm satisfied for me being at that environment.
For sure. I know one thing to add that I always think about is whenever I'm at with like what it can be considered a failure or a lesson, that there's going to be a victory that equates to that is coming up as long as I don't stop. And I think that's with anything that anybody do.
Better appreciate that. Devontae, seeing you
Yeah, I agree with what Eric said. Most definitely, it's a learning lesson. But as well as what your father said earlier, it's like everything's gonna happen for a reason. So like you could take this opportunity to reflect on it and learn from it, and do something different next time. But definitely, yeah, it's definitely a learning lesson and something you can reflect on and learn from.
for
I
sure.
would I would piggyback just like on the other gentleman said, but when I think about that, I bring it back to the Bible, like the lady with the issue of blood, and she kept going to Jesus. She kept going to him until she blessed him. So don't make that be a give up. Make that be a step up to your next, because sometimes that one thing may be that one thing to get you to do something else, because it's not going to be that easy. You know what? Life's not that easy. So you got to keep pushing, keep on your grind, and keep going. So that was like a wake up call. You know what? Maybe I do need to do something different. Maybe I need to go back and go network with some other people. Don't let that stop you from going back to Philly. Keep going, because your time may not have been then, but your time is coming.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's definitely like, obviously I'm gonna keep going. It's just a question, just trying to get a different insight on it. I definitely took away some notes from it. One of the biggest things I took away was almost being different, because like I said, it felt like a concert feel or people just going there to see Wallow. But then here's one of the directors of YouTube came on stage and not many people paid attention or really sat and grasped what he was trying to say. And so what it made me realize was, be there to learn, be a learner. Don't be there trying to almost worship these celebrities and pretty much, yeah, worship the celebrities and what it is they have to offer, or what it is, who they are, but rather what it is they have to offer to help me get in that position. And so if Brendan, if you feel like chipping in and sharing your experience with it, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, it was like how you said it felt like people were just there because there were celebrities. Like for example, how you said when the guy from YouTube came out, everybody clapped because that's the proper introduction. But when the owner of the Shade Room came out, oh, everybody was at the front. Everybody was at the front because they know, as they know, with Shade Room, that's nothing but gossip, and that's worship. That's worship nowadays. Is worship and the gossip and negativity and everything, but real knowledge wasn't really recognized by the unrecognizable. So that was what I got from it.
For sure, for sure. What are some opportunities that you all had this week, and what are some key things that you took away from it?
That's a good question, bro. I think the opportunity that I've been receiving has taught me that when you're in a position, you really should bring others on as well if you can. For me, because last year, 2 years ago, I wanted to be in certain positions, but the people that I knew, they wouldn't help bring me up. So now that I'm in a position, I want to help the people that surround me, create opportunities for them as opportunities are presented to me.
Yeah, I had an opportunity as well this weekend, and it made me realize that, you know, whatever you believe in, keep chasing it, no matter if somebody else don't believe in the vision that you have or believe in you. But if that's the purpose and that's what you're here to on earth to fulfill on, keep chasing that no matter what. Even if you fail, even if somebody doesn't believe in you or it's hard, definitely stay consistent with the roadmap and the path that you desire you desire to take.
Facts. If they were supposed to believe the vision, it would have been theirs.
My opportunity was I coached basketball, and all the teams, like because of the snow, didn't have enough players, and I gave one of my players to another team, and he was able to shine in that game, and he had a great game, and he plays in another league, and he doesn't get an opportunity to play. But me giving him that opportunity, like the smiles of his grandparents, his mom, his dad, him, it was like it wasn't money involved. It was just giving, like the mindset, giving somebody an opportunity, because I had a chance to give them an opportunity. Sometimes we miss that, giving somebody an opportunity because money's not involved with it. But just me giving him that opportunity and him being able to shine and just a smile on his family's face made me feel good as a coach.
What was the question again? My apologies.
You good. The question was, what are some opportunities that you had this week, and what are some key points that you took away from it?
I don't know. For those who missed it, I was just talking about having car issues, having to fork over money that I had access to the money, but I wasn't looking forward to spending the money on that. But like I said, I've also got great news this week as well. Planning another event next month. Looking at transitioning out of the 9-to-5 career to more of a career of service that pays more. Like I said, so as I'm getting these opportunities and this good news, as the good book is called, the good news, it's just, you're going to have your trials and tribulations that's going to test you and test your faith and test your mindset and test your will. Like I said, and I'm not sure who caught the live or caught the video I did earlier today, where I was talking about I am an inspiration to other people. And oftentimes when you get bad news or where things come and interfere with your happiness and your joy, you tend to forget about you're still here to inspire other people. You're still here to serve. So even though in all these trying times, I had to remind myself that I still have to be who I was created to be. I have to add value, I have to impact, I have to be an inspiration to other people. So that's what I took away from this week.
I would say my opportunity was more personal in my household with my son. He's a freshman in high school and he plays basketball. He didn't have a so good game his last 4 games, and this past weekend they actually won, but he still had a horrible game. And he went to his mother's house after the game, but it was eating me alive in my stomach. I said, I need to talk to him I need to say something. I said, no, I don't want to make him mad. I ain't gonna say nothing. But I said, you know what? I got to say this because I don't want another man saying this before I do. So I called him probably about 9:30 last night. We had a great conversation, but I said, son, I love you so much. But a lot of stuff you said you wanted to play basketball in college. You said your goal was to go to NBA, but it's a called sacrifice. You play video games more than you pick up the basketball. You're on your cell phone more than you in the gym lifting weights. I said, if you really want to do something, you got to do something different. You can't want something different, keep doing the same. That's insanity. Doing this, want something different, but doing the same thing. So I had a heart to heart with my son. It felt good. It felt good to talk to him like that. And then he sent me this long text back. Dad, you're gonna see. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. So yeah, I'll be waiting on it. But sometimes I think you're as a parent, your kids need to hear from you first. Because yeah, you're gonna praise you. Yeah, you're doing good. But I had to be you suck Saturday. You was driving down the court when you shouldn't have passed the ball. You wasn't hitting nothing. Yeah, you hit your leg. I mean, but I was just very frustrated. And sometimes I sugarcoat stuff to make them feel good. But you can still make your kid feel good and tell them the truth as well. So that was an opportunity for me to be real with my kid and to empower him. You got to work to get what you want to get and what you want to be and do what you want to be in life.
Couple questions for you real quick, Mr. Allen, before somebody else jump in. How
Yes,
old
sir.
are you, sir?
I am 45.
45. I'm 47. How many kids do you have?
I have two, a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old.
Okay. So you going through it right now, right?
That part.
Parenting is practice.
Yes.
We never gonna get it right. Like I said, you see that fellow over there, that Design Right fella, he took me through it.
Yep.
But when I tell you when it clicked and he got it, I couldn't be more proud. And
Yeah.
now he's taking that and he's feeling what I went through with his younger brother. So he's 20, his brother's 11, so there's a big age gap. But it's a good thing because he's so seasoned now that he can step in and do the things that dad should be there doing, but he's there with him more time. So I commend you. You're right. Sometimes you sugarcoat it. You have to find a balance on how to treat your children. So that's a nugget for anybody out there with kids. You got to find a balance. Sometimes you got to be hard. Sometimes you got to be soft. But I commend you for recognizing. Sometimes I sugarcoat it, but this time I had to be real with him. So I commend you for that, brother.
Hey, can I ask a question to you two, being parents? So I have an older child. She's 18 and she's in college. She's a freshman. So she just got a refund check. You know, she's smelling herself. She goes and buys her a car. She's at the point where she's like, oh, she don't want to listen. She's tired of everybody talking to her. And so her mom talked to her, everybody else. I haven't really said nothing to her about her decisions or anything. I just told her, make sure she keeps some gas in there since it's cold. Not, I haven't said anything. When your child says they're over people talking, which they're always going to say that, how do you approach without being that nagging person, but still be able to lay some law to them to make them, understand you made a mistake of what you did, or how she was talking to her mom. She can't talk to her mom like that. Like, so how do you approach it without being like getting pushed away because they feel like you're doing like everybody else?
For me, I'm gonna always be dad. But at the same time, too, I'm sensitive to my kids' emotional state. So you got to find that right time and place to say what you want to say. You can't always say it when it's on your mind. You got to let the air breathe a little bit, maybe a couple of days, maybe a week or so. Last week, what happened? Can we just have a conversation? Sometimes you got to be soft about it. You're going to always be dad, so you don't got to put on the facade. But at the same time, too, I know when I'm on one, people know they can discern me. Don't talk to daddy right now. He's not in the mood. Come back to me later. Sometimes I think we just have to be able to be cognizant of our own emotions and our own mindset. Remember, she's going to always be your daughter, but find the right time and place. And just because you feel like you need to say something, may not always be the right time and place to say it.
Appreciate it.
I will piggyback on that and just say be very strategic. Like I said, take your time with it. Maybe take her out to lunch, wherever she enjoys going to. And like I said, just have there's some things we need to talk about. And like I said, lead with love.
Yep, always.
Lead with love. But like I said, be dad. And then at the end, make sure you give her a hug. Make sure you throw a joke in there a little bit. But just have a understanding of, hey, we can all make better choices. I've been down that road, and just come to her level.
Appreciate it. Got you.
I think that gets me or brings up the next question. And this goes for any type of relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, parent, child, co-worker, friendship, when it comes to wanting to correct somebody on a mistake or how they made you feel or something that they did, how important is it to pay attention to their emotions in that scenario or in that situation?
I'll chime in really, really fast on that one. So my brother, about almost this is the third year, he ended up being shot, took an injury, ended up being a paraplegic, and he had to learn to rewalk. He's doing really, really good now, more healthy, more in a state of mind. But we're 8 years apart, so it took me a long time for a little brother to not think that I loved him, just because I was older and I was in my own world trying to reach my goals. But we finally had a talk last year, right December, about me just not being there. But I had to understand him more. Like even when they say younger siblings, when they say, excuse my language, if your younger siblings is saying some bullshit, you still need to listen. Sometimes you just gotta allow them to get it out and then allow them to have the floor. So now when we talk, we have the most amazing relationship now as brothers. And him being a father, I'm just supporting him. Like I'm spending time with him right now with my niece. So I give him a chance to grow because he's still young. But in his position and where he was at and where he's at now, his emotions is like key to me. So I take the time to listen to him. I take the time to pour into him. I take the time to allow him to get it out. But now he tells me how much he loves me, or in the case of my being, it's just me listening and being that leader and being that brother to allow him to get his emotions out and know that it's safe in my situation. So
I like how you put it, a safe space. That's important because it's hard to correct somebody, especially if other people are around. It may not be the right proper time and place when other people are around, but just make sure that the person you do it like Pop Rice said earlier, do it in love.
So I go with my relationship with my son. So I coach him with basketball. That's one of the toughest things to do is coach your child and still be like a parent at the end of the day, because and me and him are the same person when it comes to basketball. So Saturday he's got a new role. He's been the leader, the point guard. He's never played the point guard. His handles got better. So he's been, the star player kind of sort of, because we didn't have that many players. And he, like Mr. Allen said, he sucked. He missed every shot. He was jacking it up. He wasn't passing, and he fell and hurt himself. And I could have, got on him like, hey man, you got to do better. After I found out he was okay, I was like, hey man, breathe, calm down, go out and have fun. And the old me would have been like, man, what are you doing out there? Da 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 da, and kind of getting on him. And I had, like they said, you have to learn your kids' emotions. So I knew if I went and tore into him during the game, his game would have been worse because he's emotional. When he's emotional, his game is off. So I learned that, and just being able to talk to him, like maybe not after the game, maybe a couple hours later, or maybe the next day, call him and talk to him, and when he's calmed down, so he's listening, he understands. Because he's like me, his body language will say he's not listening, but his actions after the conversation to show me that he's listening. So it's just me learning how not to get on him as hard, because that messes up his game. And like me being, when I wasn't his coach, I'm yelling from the sideline. He couldn't take it. So I had to learn to be quiet and just, it's hard to be quiet, but I had to learn to be quiet because I want him to be able to be great. But I also want him to be able to hear negative stuff coming from somebody, and him being able to go out there and still play his game. But just learning to not overdo it as a dad or a coach in that moment, and wait till a couple hours later or maybe the next day to have the conversation of the correcting and telling him what he could have did better. Because I always tell him what he does good after the game, so he's not down even if he does have a bad game. So that's kind of what I'm learning with him, and it's been hard, but I'm learning each week. And his mom and me actually listening to his mom and taking her advice, even though we're not together, has been beneficial too.
Yeah, you definitely have to be attentive to people's triggers, their traumas, um, learning to know people, especially knowing who you're dealing with. And like I said, oftentimes when someone is expressing themselves or like I said, they've angered you, or if there's an issue, I think you gotta, give it time. You gotta let people have their space and just know when to come back and have that conversation. But you also have to let people know, it's a thing called effective communication. Hey, it's something I want to talk to you about right now, might not be the right time. So let's schedule to talk tomorrow. Whether you give it a set time or you just let it be known. That way, like I said, you're both not walking around with these feelings and these emotions and you're ready to explode because you know that, okay, tomorrow we're actually going to have the conversation versus y'all both just being mad and not knowing what to say. You get to sending text messages and doing all kind of say. Because remember, once that stuff leaves your mouth and when you say the wrong words, it's no getting it back. So sometimes you got to be patient, know who you're dealing with, and say, hey, some things I want to talk to you about. Let's talk about, but I'm not ready to talk about it right now. Give me some time to let the thoughts process. I think I'm on the right track with the question.
I will also add too the importance of what needs to be addressed. Do you always have to give your input? Is it always necessary? How is that going to build that other person? Or what's the impact you're trying to have on that person? Because sometimes I know I made mistakes. I've corrected, I've addressed something, but I could have kept it to myself. It wasn't that deep. Sometimes things are 911, you have to say something. Sometimes it's best if you just let it ride. They'll have a hiccup again. They'll learn from their mistakes eventually. But sometimes I just kind of think, is it necessary that I say something? Is it that important? Or can I just, sometimes you just got to be able to discern. Sometimes it works. Sometimes you have to say something because it's been happening so many times. But I know a lot. I had to check myself on that a lot of times.
That's wisdom right there.
I agree with that. And I think I've seen it most with my father in our relationship. Obviously, like you said, with me growing up, we always didn't see eye to eye. And I think later in my teenage years, he says he took his hands up off me. So obviously he was still there present. But some things I had to learn on my own and realize, okay, this is the right thing to do or this is the wrong thing to do. And I remember one time I ended up getting in trouble at school, and he used to tell me about arguing with people like that's never going to lead you in the right spot and learn how to control my emotions. And my heart was beating when he got called to the school, came to school, picked me up, and he was he spoke very few words, like the whole ride home, didn't say much. And usually when I would get in trouble, like he on me, like you got to correct this now. If you don't, then it's gonna be a problem. But he didn't say much, and it scared me to the point because when somebody who usually get on you don't say much, it's like, okay, what's coming up? And so I remember when we got home, the first thing I did was took my PlayStation in his room. Never did that, but it was like, okay, what is going on? But then now years later, I learned from that mistake. I stopped arguing with people. I learned how to control my emotions. But it was to the fact of just me having to learn on my own what it is I did wrong, because this is something that he had kept telling me. But obviously I wasn't learning from the fact that he kept telling me. I had to learn on my own about what I was doing. So I agree with that. But anybody else got something to say before we wrap it up?
Yeah, let me say this real quick. Hey, why'd you go say it and I was seeing your pop smirk? It made me laugh. Hey, but now I love everything that y'all said. I really took a lot out of everything from the beginning of the conversation. And it taught me communication. Communication is key, is what it sounds like with everything. And going into it with a clear mind on both ends. So yeah, I appreciate hearing all of y'all advice.
Yes, sir. We do appreciate y'all for joining us tonight. Definitely mean a lot to us. Usually, like the first couple of weeks, it was just me and Pops on here just talking. And so to see that my brother Damon took over, did what he did, got the people out here, and then for the other brothers who are already in the group chat just joining us, it definitely mean a lot. It definitely give me some motivation to keep going. And especially after this weekend, just seeing y'all join us definitely mean a lot. So our group chat is on Telegram. I sent Damon the link if you aren't already in it. So he'll send you the link and for you. So we hope y'all join us in Telegram. And we do appreciate y'all for joining us tonight. The episode or the meeting will be uploaded on YouTube. So we definitely hope to see y'all watch it or just share it on your social media platforms. And like I said, I hope y'all have a blessed Sunday. And we appreciate y'all for coming. Me and my pops always ended off the same way every weekend or every episode. in that saying, desire is everything, God. So let's go ahead and get that out. Everybody unmute yourselves real quick. Let's get it. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Desire is
everything.
Desire
God.
everything. God.
Your brothers.
Love y'all, man.
Love.
I appreciate y'all.
Peace. Blessings.